Good morning. It's Wednesday, February 15th. On this day in 1851, several black abolitionists invaded a Boston, Massachusetts courtroom to rescue a fugitive slave by the name of Shadrach Minkins. Lady T coming to you from Cheryl's World, bringing you the latest on things happening in your world. Looking at weather around the globe, in Barcelona, Spain, it's 52 degrees and clear, 38 degrees nighttime and cold in Shanghai, China, and a little closer to Cheryl's World, in Dallas, Texas, it is a cool 54 degrees. Getting right into the morning's top news, a television anchor, Cal Dyer of KUSA TV in Denver, Colorado, was attacked by a dog last Wednesday while giving a live broadcast. Right after petting the 85-pound Argentine Mastiff's head, Dyer was bitten in the face. She had to receive 70 stitches in her lips and nose and is doing as well as can be expected. Iconic singer Whitney Houston's funeral is set to take place on Saturday at her childhood church in Newark, New Jersey. Houston's funeral will be open to invited guests only at the New Hope Baptist Church. Relating to her cause of death, Assistant Chief Coroner Ed Winter, despite media speculation, does not believe that Whitney Houston overdosed. A Women's Business Awards event hosted by best-selling author of The Strawberry Letter, Real Talk, Real Advice, Because Bitterness Isn't Sexy, Shirley Strawberry, will take place in Atlanta, Georgia on March 17th. The third annual Stiletto Business Awards is a part business conference, empowerment workshop, and networking social. For tickets and to register, go to stilettowoman.com. In international headlines, Syria is in a state of near warfare. Residents in the city of Homs experienced sniper attacks and increased violence on Tuesday. Individuals trying to get food from the local bakeries are among the target of gunmen. With 16 dead, Abu Ammar, an alias for a Syrian resident, said that you have to be lucky to be safe. Following the world of sports, last night in basketball, the LA Lakers took home the glory with an 86-78 win against the Atlanta Hawks. Lakers' Paul Gasol scored 20 points with 13 assists. Jumping back into international headlines, China's Vice President Xi Jinping met with President Obama in Washington yesterday to discuss business matters and received a grand reception, including a 19-gun salute at the Pentagon. Xi is to be the president of China in 2013. Lawmakers are very close to passing a package deal giving a 2 percentage point payroll tax cut and extra jobless benefits through 2012 after the House of Republicans announced that this tax cut would not result in spending cuts. Final congressional approval is expected to take place Friday. This legislation is expected to cost about $150 billion. As always, this has been Lady T with your insight in the morning's top news. Please be sure to stay tuned. Cheryl's World will continue after this break.
This program is brought to you by Emory University.
In February 1851, an interracial mob stormed the courthouse in Boston where Shadrach Minkins, a fugitive slave from Virginia living in Boston, was being held. The mob, about 20 in number, seized Minkins and carried him out of the building. Unnamed individuals later hid the fugitive and then helped him to escape to Canada. Slave catchers had arrested Minkins only hours earlier at the restaurant where he worked as a waiter. At the time he was taken to the courthouse, Minkins was still wearing his white waiter's apron, a token of the pride waiters, particularly black waiters, felt for their work. The apron was also a national symbol of the skilled male worker, and Bostonians, white and black alike, were particularly enraged that a man wearing such an apron and trying to make a living should be carried off from his place of labor and forced into slavery. In fact, in newspapers across the North, Minkins and his waiter's apron emerged as a rallying cry for free labor ideology and the moral wrong of slavery. That Minkins story made such a statement in 1850s America was surprising. When he had first arrived in Boston months earlier, Minkins had been subjected to intense racial discrimination and segregation, as indeed were all black Bostonians in the period before the Civil War. For example, African Americans in Boston found their occupational options extremely limited. Working as a waiter, a job no white, native-born American male wanted because it was considered servile and degrading, was one of the very best occupations available to black men in the city. Waiters earned a higher income than the average black worker, and their employment was not seasonal or especially dangerous. Still, white society saw the job as unfitting for true Republicans, which they did not consider blacks. But rather than accept the menial status white society had assigned to waitering, black men were generally proud to work as waiters and eagerly sought such jobs. When Irish immigrants began pouring into Boston beginning in the mid-1840s, these black waiters defiantly defended their dominance of waitering from the Irish, who, facing occupational discrimination similar to African Americans, threatened to take waiter positions away from them. In fact, to protect their jobs, black waiters in Boston now began to underscore the special skill and training waitering required, arguing that their race, in particular, was especially capable of excelling in this work. This is significant because such arguments were some of the first to insist on the dignity of black labor. Tunis Campbell, an African-American waiter in Boston, spearheaded these efforts with his book, Hotel Keepers, Head Waiters, and Housekeepers' Guide, which he published in 1848. Campbell's book emphasized the dedication and ability that waitering required. He warned restaurant owners not to hire cheap immigrant labor if they wanted good service and advocated for black waiters instead. Campbell further urged employers not to force their waiters to wear livery, as many male house servants were expected to do, because this was beneath the status a waiter should command. Instead, Campbell advised waiters to wear an apron, just like a skilled artisan, in order to register their own respect for their positions and to evoke respect among others as well. African Americans continued to face discrimination and prejudice even in the North until well after abolition. Nevertheless, the reaction to Shadrach Minkins' arrest suggests that the efforts of Tunis Campbell and other antebellum black waiters to demonstrate the abilities and dignities of their race had a major impact